Hello everyone, it's Sheila back again. Welcome to my channel. I have been messing on with my computer again today. Just the camera this time. The webcam. It just does not seem to be working the way it used to. The colour on the screen is just not right. It's got too much blue in it and I can't get the normal colours. I've got the ring light on and that's not making any difference. And I think when something happened to my computer, I think other things are starting to happen to it, the camera. But anyway, I have come on to do a little video to show how I get rid of the ends. You know, when you're changing colours and crochet. I have shown this before, I think, but not as much as I have done in this one because I've got a lot of change of colours in this one, and rather than have to sew all the ends in afterwards or weave them in, whichever you do, I'm showing you how I do it. And I've done a little video to show what I have done with this to get rid of the end. So I'll be back with you shortly. So this is how I work in the ends for when I'm changing colours on crochet. I don't want to have to weave them or sew them in afterwards if I'm doing a lot of stripes like what this one's going to be. So I put the new colour in for what I'm starting here, and this is the end that I have left from the other colour, and I just go into the back of the loop and pull it through. I've already done this once before, but I forgot to set the camera off, so these stitches look a bit big along here because I've already been done once. But you know, it works better when you're doing a video if you start the camera off. So I had to pull it out and do it again. So we'll just go through the stitch and pull it through. Doesn't matter whether you go through the back of the stitch or the front because it's going to be picked up with the next row anyway. I'm splitting those two because I'm using 2 strands for this poncho. As you can see through the stitch there, the back of the stitch, and pick it up. And you just keep going along the row until you've worked all that end in. And it saves all that work afterwards. It does take a little bit of time while you're doing it, but you're only doing it when you're changing the colour, so you don't notice the time it takes. Oops, I've missed some of that one. You have to be careful when you're working with 2 strands like I am here. You can do this in the when you're actually working the crochet as well. And you just keep going as far as the end takes you until it's all been taken up in the work. That's not successful with that one. It's getting a bit too short. Now I'll leave that bit. It's having difficulty going through that stitch. And just tighten it up a little bit on the top. And when you come to crochet over the top, if there's any bits like that sticking out, just cut them off. And now I put my other colour in. I've got my working end here. And now I have a long end from this colour. So I'm going to do exactly the same thing. I'm going to turn it. Right, you work a few stitches along the row. And when you pick the stitches up where you've threaded the end through, make sure you pick the whole of the stitch, because you have 3 lots of stitches over there now instead of the 2 that make up the V stitch on the top. You see there, you have the line, you have a stitch there and there. Make sure you go down below that one, so you pick up the whole of the 3 lots of threads. That's what they are there. I'll go so far along this row and then show you the same thing again with the darker colour. It does save you a lot of work, because most people will be stitching or weaving in those ends afterwards. And that's a job I hate. That was how I come to try this way, and found it works very well. I do this in anything that I crochet, any colours that I change when I do coasters, and anything at all, granny squares, different colours, ordinary blankets, what I've been doing a large blanket, and I do the same with when I change the colours on them. And that's enough to show the same thing along here. And this is the end for that, so for that colour. It's a bit hard to start it off because I can't see over the phone. There. So I pulled it through the first stitch. Through the second. And take the whole of the end that you've got along. Don't leave any or cut any off until you get right to the very end of it. And if there's a little bit still shown, just snip that little bit off. The more you take across the row, the safer it is. There's no fear of it coming loose. It's a bit awkward because I'm working opposite to a way to what I normally crochet. And there, that's enough to show. And then when I crochet along to that end and come back, I just go over those stitches the same as I did before. And that's one way to get rid of your ends easily. So that's what I do in crochet to get rid of the ends, instead of leaving them all, because I have got quite a lot of change of colours in this, and if I'd left it until the end for to get rid of it, I would have spent hours weaving in those things. But I do it as I go, and as you can see, that's where I've done this one here. There's a little bit up the top there that I'll probably cut that bit off, and the little bit there for the one that was down below. I don't know if you can see it there. I'll probably trim that so it's level with the knitting and doesn't stick through, but that's about the distance that I've put the end along. I've let the end go right along, so it's quite safe, it won't come out, and that's the way I like it. But that was a little bit of that. I was just to show that because I have been knitting some of Claudette's during the day, but it's been a very dark day today. It's usually on dark days like this I have trouble with the colour on my camera. I don't know whether that's what it is. I'll have to wait until I get a better light to see what's what on my computer. But I do this with it being a very dark colour. I'm onto the sleeve on, I've got the back and the front done. I'm onto the sleeve now on Claudette's cardigan. So I'm hoping to get this finished for at least by the weekend. And then I can get it sorted and sent off to Claudette. And just in case you're wondering, I've got a scarf around my neck, but it's not that there's anything wrong. I've got my heating on in this house, but the neck on this sweater comes down like that and my neck's all bare. So if I pull it right down, it's like that, and my neck's just been cold all day. I think I'll have to sort out my other sweaters with the higher necks, because I had this one on when I went out last night to my bingo, because it looks tidy, you know. Now, I never won last night again at my bingo. One of the girls, well, there was two of the girls won something, but me and my friend never won anything, so Rose cannot win every time. But like I'm telling you that, so now you know that I did get out, because I wasn't sure about the weather with the cold, and whether there was going to be frost like ice on the road. But it wasn't too bad, so I did go. But when I was coming back, I left the club. It was about 10:15, I think it was, when I left the club. The bingo was finished by then. We don't stay any longer. So it's about a 10-minute drive to drop my friend off back at her house. And then I have about another 25 to 30 minutes from there to get back to my own house. While I was driving down to my friend, I could see little flakes of snow on the windscreen. I was saying to her, oh, hope it's not going to snow. And it was getting heavier. It was starting to lie on the road, but I got onto the A1. Of course, the gritters had been out, so the A1 was okay, but halfway up the A1, it just disappeared. It wasn't on at all in my area when I got home. But my friends were all talking on the on our Facebook app thing that we talk to each other. Oh, they were saying they all live up in that area where my friend lives, and they said that it was lying up there, like, so I was happy it didn't affect me, and there's no snow here. But it is cold. It's not, the temperature's not as cold as yesterday, but it must just be with me having this sweater on. It's not one of my own that I've knitted, so it's not as thick and just doesn't feel as warm as what I knit myself. And before I go, I almost forgot this. I didn't forget this yesterday, Heather. Just my post doesn't come until late in the afternoon. And I think I'd already put the video up there I did yesterday before the post arrived. So this came for me in the post yesterday from Heather. It's a Christmas card. And she sent me a little present, a Christmas tree decoration. And it's also got a little pocket in the back. A handy little, nice little thing. And she says in her card, a Christmas card, she's saying she's thanking me for my lovely podcasts, which keep me knitting and entertained. So that's very nice, Heather. It's a lovely card and a nice little decoration for my tree. But I haven't got my tree up yet. I'm a bit old-fashioned. Everybody's trees and their lights, in fact some of the lights around my estate have been up since about the middle of November. I don't put them up till nearer Christmas. My tree doesn't go up till nearer Christmas, so it'll not be hanging on my tree till a bit later. I'm not one of those that likes, I don't like things like that collecting dust around my house for weeks. So that's that little bit for now. Now I'm going to do a little bit more knitting and hopefully get this finished, and then I can get on with Dagry's poncho and get that finished and get that sent off to her as well. So that's my little bit for now, so we'll give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And I only hope this video was better. This is the second time I've tried to do this video, and that it wasn't just the colour, but the sound was out of sync as well. Well, I changed the hertz on it. It was set on 50 hertz, and I thought it might be something to do with that. So I've changed it to 60. So if this video goes up on YouTube, you know I managed to get the the sound back in sync as well. I was talking and it was way, you know, my mouth was moving, but it wasn't going with the words I was saying. So hopefully, thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll catch up with you all later. So bye for now.